Hello, and welcome to episode 18 of the Compassion and Cucumbers podcast. I'm Christine.
And I'm Sam.
And I hope you've all dug out. If you're over on the east coast of the US of A, the eastern part of the US of A, you got dumped on today. We did. We have a little over a foot, and I know some people near to us that have closer to 2 feet of snow out there. Thankfully, we have a neighbor that snow blows our driveway, so, you know, we're not trapped. But we didn't go anywhere, and hopefully you didn't go anywhere either. Also, happy Martin Luther King Day. So, welcome to episode 18. So today we wanted to talk a little bit about the meals that we like to cook, the vegan meals that we like to cook.
Yeah. Now, these are kind of our standard day-to-day fare. These are things that we tend to prepare mostly for dinner. Dinner is our primary meal of the day.
Yeah.
And it's usually the one meal that we eat together.
Right.
Yeah. So it's the one that we spend the most time on eating. But also these are the things that are kind of in our heavy rotation. So we've gotten to a point now where the holidays are over and we're neither making specialty foods quite as much, nor are we eating out quite as much. So actually at all. And so these are the things that kind of formulate our regular dinners.
Yeah, it's been good to get back to eating more whole foods and less snack foods and holiday fare.
Yeah.
It definitely feels good to be eating more whole foods.
Absolutely. I mean, we love the snack foods, don't get me wrong.
Oh, no. Well, they're great.
They're fun and they're tasty.
But they're not the best. They're not the best for you health-wise.
No, definitely not.
So let's just jump into it.
Yeah.
I've made a list of some of the meals that I cook on regular rotation around here. Mm-hmm. And the funny thing is, number one on my list, we made tonight, which was completely coincidental. And number one on our list is the Soba Bowl.
Yes.
Yes. So not sure if you're familiar with Soba Noodles. They're usually gluten-free. Sometimes they have wheat involved. Sometimes they're not completely gluten-free.
It's a good idea to read the package, but most of the time, soba noodles are buckwheat noodles.
Right.
And that's considered a form of squash, not
right.
a form of wheat. So most of the time they are gluten-free, but you do want to check the label. The other thing you want to be careful about with soba noodles is some brands can be hugely packed with sodium.
Yeah, and I didn't know that. And there was this one brand, and I can't remember the name, unfortunately, but there was this one brand that we used to get at Wegmans that I loved.
Oh, they were so good.
And then I figured out why I loved them so much. They had like 1,200 grams
milligrams, not grams. That would be insane.
1,200 milligrams of sodium per serving.
Yeah.
I'm like, holy cow, that's terrible.
Yes.
So we stopped buying that brand.
Right. But there are plenty of brands of soba noodles that contain zero added sodium.
Yes.
And so that's definitely the way to go. If you want your soba noodles a little saltier, salt the water or salt the noodles after you cook them.
Yeah. I don't do either.
No, because you put tamari.
Yeah, I tend to add tamari to the vegetables and stuff that I'm cooking, and I don't add salt to our Soba Bowl meal at all.
Right.
Because of the either soy sauce or tamari.
Or coconut aminos.
Yeah, or coconut aminos that we're adding. That adds the sodium, so I don't need to add sodium.
Right.
So what I usually do is I get an assortment of vegetables, and this is also a good clean out your vegetable bin meal. If you have vegetables that are falling by the wayside, this is a good meal to use them up in. I usually grab zucchini, cauliflower, any type of vegetable like that, carrots, anything really. Bell peppers. And I saute them. I kind of like stir-fry, saute them. And I usually add in, like I said, tamari. And then I use sesame oil. And I usually just do it like you would do stir-fry for stir-fry vegetables. And then, like in a separate pan, I will do either baked tofu or tempeh for like a protein. Mm-hmm. And then cook the noodles, and they cook in like 3 or 4 minutes.
Yeah, soba noodles are super fast. It's not like wheat-based pasta.
Yeah,
they cook very quickly.
Sometimes I add a roasted factor, but I didn't do that today.
Nope.
Sometimes I'll roast like Brussels sprouts or something like that, or sweet potato or something like that, and add a roasted element to it. Then cut up some cold veg. And
my favorite part.
Yeah, cut up some cold veg to top it with. And today I used baby cucumbers and radish and cooked edamame. I cooked
Cold
the edamame. Well,
edamame.
I take frozen whole edamame and I just pour boiling water over them until they're soft.
Yeah.
And then I run them under cold water and then use that as a cold element.
Yeah.
You can also use
green onions,
scallions. Yeah.
Anything
like that on top is really good. I highly recommend topping them with, we use sesame seeds, pepitas.
No sesame.
Sunflower seeds and pepitas. The reason I said sesame seeds is because in my brain, I have to make a mental note that we're out of sesame seeds.
Ah, there we go.
Yeah, because I usually also add sesame seeds.
Yes.
And
because those beautiful tuxedo sesame seeds
the tuxedos
look so
are
pretty
black.
on the Soba Bowl.
Actually, the black ones are the best ones to get because sesame seeds naturally are black. If you get white sesame seeds, they've been bleached in some way.
Yeah.
Not sure how they do it. But if you can get your hands on black sesame seeds, those are the best ones. Mm-hmm. Health-wise. Mm-hmm. So that's usually what I do. And then we just put the noodles on the bottom and then, arrange the assorted veg in whatever fashion and the protein in whatever fashion you want in a bowl and then dig in. It's good.
Yeah, it's really good. This was one that we're so fond of it that before the holidays and kind of into last spring, this was on super heavy rotation with us. We might have Soba Bowl twice a week for a while. And it got to be too much.
Yeah, you get sick of it.
With any food, you can kind of get stuck in a rut.
Yeah.
And so we actually haven't had this particular meal for quite some time until Christine brought it out again tonight, which was super tasty. And it was a real treat because we hadn't had it in a few months.
Yeah, it always tastes better if you haven't had it in a while.
So good.
Yeah, so that was number 1 on my list.
There you go.
Number 2 on my list of things that we like to make is just a large salad with roasted vegetables on top. There's something about that hot and cold combination that's really good. And then, just top it with a dressing and we usually do nuts and seeds on top too for a textural factor. Mm-hmm. But yeah, we just make a giant salad, serve it in giant bowls, and then top it with whatever roasted veg, Brussels sprouts or sweet potatoes or both or potatoes or...
Yeah. See, this one is my particular favorite. And, this is one I could eat every night of the week and never get tired of it. I love raw vegetables so much. That the more there are in my life, the happier I am. And so it's very true. So this is one that is really a staple for us year round. And the type of vegetables that we use will change based on the time of year and what's available. We've done some beautiful squash on top of a salad. Brussels sprouts are a constant. Potatoes in the fall. And it's really just wonderful. But also the best thing about this are the infinite variations on a theme that you can do. So we, on top of our salads, most of the time we'll do a roasted vegetable, but you can also do things like a vegan chicken nugget, or you can do some French fried potatoes, or you can do whole grains. I love putting barley on top of salads, to be honest.
We got turned on to that when for a while, were doing, Blue Apron? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And they had a couple, and it's funny, this was before we were vegan, but our favorite Blue Apron meals were the vegan and vegetarian ones. And they turned us on to that, adding grains to a cold salad.
Cooked grains to a cold salad.
Yeah, and it's good.
Yep, I absolutely love it. And we don't do barley on our salads enough.
We don't. I don't know. We got into this barley thing where we were having barley all the time, and then barley. I kind of got turned off to barley for some reason. So
there's something wrong with her. I don't know what it is. I think it's the greatest stuff. I absolutely love it.
We really need to, because I have a bulk supply of barley.
Really?
Organic barley. I have a giant thing of organic barley, so.
I didn't know this.
I know. We should be having barley with every meal.
Bring it on. Bring on the barley, I say.
Yeah. And make sure you get organic when you buy barley.
Mm-hmm. Very important.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then on top of that, so what we're getting in this salad is, of course, you get the crunch of the raw vegetables, and you get some warmth and lusciousness from the roasted vegetables.
Yeah.
And then our other kinds of toppings, Christine already mentioned that we tend to use nuts and seeds. So we do walnuts, pepitas, flax seeds, and sunflower seeds are our most common of those. But also my favorite crunchy topping for a salad are crunchy chickpeas.
Oh yeah, the crunchy, like baked chickpeas.
Yes.
Those are good.
Baked
and you can make
chickpeas.
them yourself really easily just by tossing some chickpeas with a teeny bit of olive oil and your spice of choice, and then just lay them out on a sheet tray and bake them in the oven until they're crunchy.
They're so good.
Yeah, or you can buy them bagged, which we do. We always keep a supply of the bagged one because do you know what the brand is of that one?
Off the top of my head, no, but I can tell you that the falafel flavored baked chickpeas
those are
my
good.
favorite. Oh, they're so good.
Yeah.
They also have a very super spicy like Indian masala flavor that's really good.
Yeah, they're like the hip peas, but it's not
hip
not
peas.
that brand.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, I forgot about that. Use them like a crouton. They're really good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes when we make those big salads though, I like towards the end of it, I'm just tired of chewing.
Yeah, I don't have that issue.
I've been chewing for so long.
I don't have that
issue. I know
issue.
it's good for you.
Oh my
all
God,
that raw veg
so
is really
good.
good for you. But after a while, I'm like, I don't want to chew anymore.
Oh, it's so good. No, I really do think that this is my favorite on the list, and I could very easily eat that every day.
Yeah, I know. And the
All the
good thing
time.
is with the roasted veg, it because sometimes in the wintertime, when somebody says you want a salad, and you're like, no, it's cold out, and I want something warming. But once you put the roasted veg on top, it turns it turns it into a more warm meal than just a cold salad. So
Right. Or if you're really set on having, a combination meal that has a truly warm component, then do a smaller version of the salad next to a really good soup.
Yeah, there's always that.
There's always that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can't go wrong there.
Yeah. So that's number 2. Number 3 on my list is a burrito bowl.
Got a good list.
I like bowls. Bowls are great because you can just mix it up.
Yeah.
With a burrito bowl, what I usually do is either I make a lentil walnut meat thing with lentils and walnuts. Is kind of self-explanatory.
Yeah.
And you can look out there. There's a million recipes for a lentil walnut burger or lentil walnut
loaf
or whatever, and just use that as a crumble, like a taco crumble. And I season it like you would taco meat. Mm-hmm. Or you can buy the pre-made crumbles. There's a million brands out there, and most of them are pretty good. Or you can just use TVP and just make like a taco meat. So start with that, and I usually add in peppers, like sauteed peppers and onions. Of course, like taco seasonings, chili pepper and cumin and cayenne. Sometimes I do cayenne. Sometimes I do chilies and adobo if you want to make it extra spicy and give it kind of a smoky flavor. So cook that up, and then I do a rice and beans, whatever rice we have on hand, either brown rice or sometimes all we have is basmati. Last time I made a burrito bowl, we were out of brown rice, and I used basmati rice.
And she was a little bummed about it. And the funny thing was we had been at the grocery store earlier that day. And as we were walking by the brown rice, I said, do we need rice? And she said, no, I think we're good. Yeah, and we got home and there was no brown rice.
Yeah, we were out of brown rice. So I used basmati rice, but it turned out just as good.
Oh, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, and then black beans. And what else? I made on the side chickpeas. Oh, I think I put the chickpeas in with the lentil walnut.
Oh, well, there
burger.
You go. That makes sense.
Which I didn't use lentil walnut burger.
No,
you
used a crumble.
It was a crumble that we had in the freezer. And unfortunately, I think it was a Morningstar Farms, because we're not buying Morningstar Farms products right now because Morningstar Farms is owned by Kellogg's. And I don't know if you're aware, but the employees of Kellogg's have been striking. Just don't buy their products. Just don't buy their products because they're justified in their striking. So yeah, that we had that in the freezer for a while. So that's what I used.
There you go.
Yeah.
And so you put the chickpeas with that.
And I put the chickpeas in with that.
There you go.
Yeah. So then I had a small head of Boston lettuce, which I chopped up and put that on the bottom, and then arranged the different components that I cooked. Did I make any other? Did I do like a tofu or any other? Oh, I did roasted purple sweet potatoes.
So good.
Yeah. That's what the other element was.
Yep.
And then, of course, top it with guacamole.
Fresh salsa.
And salsa.
Vegan sour cream if you're into it.
Yeah, and if you have vegan sour cream, that works good on top too.
And of course, a little bit of vegan shredded cheese, which we actually forgot.
I forgot the cheese, and we didn't really need it.
We didn't need it. It's actually so funny. I'm sure we've mentioned before, Christine is the cheesemonger of the two of us.
It's a problem. I have a problem. And today, Sam went into the kind of deli drawer in our refrigerator, came out into the living room and said, whatever you do not buy any more shredded cheese. And then proceeded to place in front of me 8 or 9 bags of different varieties of shredded cheese. Like, yeah, okay. It's just I'm at the store and I'm always like, do we need shredded cheese? I don't know. Well, I'll just buy it.
The answer is no. We do not
we don't need any more
cheese.
Shredded cheese, obviously.
And we need to make some things that involve shredded cheese.
Yeah. Well, I have a lasagna in the future and possibly some enchiladas. And we'll use some of that stuff up. But yeah, so I forgot the shredded cheese on the burrito bowl, but we didn't miss it.
It really didn't need it. It was so flavorful. And it's like, really, once you get those kinds of components together, put a squeeze of fresh lime juice on the top, and then guacamole. And I love fresh salsa. Christine's not as big a salsa fan as I am, but I love it.
I'm not huge into
like
the American
good pico de gallo. Bring it on.
Yeah, like pico de gallo is okay. It's better than salsa.
Yeah.
Because salsa, the American version of salsa to me is like pico de gallo that's been sitting around too long.
Yeah, I completely agree.
It's kind of mushy.
Which is why we buy fresh salsa and not jarred stuff.
That's not really salsa. Like when you go to a Mexican restaurant, like an authentic Mexican restaurant, salsa is not that. It's spicy and it's, complex and deep. It's not like a cold, well, it's usually cold, but it's not, I don't know. There's just something about it to me, like the American version of what salsa is kind of mushy, and I'm not a fan.
I gotcha.
I didn't realize I felt so strongly about salsa.
I didn't either. I was happy to keep it, and I like salsa. You don't. It wasn't really a question of morality or anything. It's just salsa.
I know. It's like, geez, I really got on the bandwagon against salsa.
You really did. And for me, it's just a matter of, okay, put the following flavors together. Tomato, onion, garlic, bell pepper.
Right.
Probably some cumin and cilantro and lime. And you put those flavors together, I am one happy person.
Right.
So I like salsa.
I don't.
I like salsa on my burrito bowl.
Yeah.
But you get that flavoring on there with, of course, the most important thing is the guacamole.
Yeah, you got to have the guacamole.
Question. Yeah. Yeah, it's just not the same without it. You need
that's
creamy.
number 3 on our list. The burrito or taco. You can call it a taco bowl.
You can call it whatever you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can call it burrito, taco,
because
doesn't matter.
Guess what? You're not putting it in a shell or a tortilla of any kind. So it doesn't matter what you call it.
Okay, so number 4 on my list is the lentil walnut loaf, which we had
just a few
days ago. I made one.
And for several days in a row.
Because for some reason, I can't make a small loaf. When I make a loaf, it's like enough for, 10 people.
Well, it's just like you can't make a small lasagna.
I know. I don't know. There's just something in me, something buried deep within my Italian DNA that does not allow me to make certain meals in a small quantity. So I made a lentil walnut loaf the size of Cleveland, and we had it. It. The first day we had it with. I made some herbed potatoes, and what else? Oh, Brussels? No, what was the veg? Oh, yes. No, summer squash. Summer squash.
Yellow squash.
Yeah. So that was the first night we had it. Then on the second night, we had it left over. I made mashed potatoes and cauliflower. And then the third night, I made wraps with it, with some greens and some... Let's see. What else did I put on those wraps?
Guacamole.
Put guacamole on the inside of the wrap, and then heated up the lentil walnut loaf, and then
a little bit of cheese.
And then I put some cucumbers and radish and what else?
A little spicy mustard, I think. Didn't you put spicy mustard on it?
No, I didn't put spicy mustard.
Oh, that was night 2. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Anyway, I made wraps out of them, and it turned out pretty good.
Yeah, they were really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the great thing about the lentil walnut loaf is that it is incredibly versatile. I mean, obviously, it's something that you would make as a substitute for your standard meatloaf.
Right.
And I actually like lentil walnut loaf so much better than meatloaf. I never liked meatloaf when I was a kid. I never enjoyed it as an adult. And then along came the lentil walnut loaf, and I was...
My lentil walnut loaf is a riff on Simnet Nutrition's recipe. So if you want a recipe, just reach out to Simnet. It's SIMNETT Nutrition. And he has a YouTube channel. And I use his recipe, but I riff on it. Every time I make it a little bit differently. But that's where I start.
Right.
So if you're looking for a recipe, that's a good recipe to start with.
Yep. Yeah. But a great thing about it is that not only can you serve it in its original form, but it can also then go into sandwiches. It can be crumbled into salads.
Yep.
You can do anything you want with it. It's just a really, really versatile kind of main dish.
It is. Yeah. And don't do like I do and make it giant. I don't know why I make it so giant.
I don't know either. I mean, honestly, when you have a recipe, if you want to make it smaller, you just cut the ingredients down.
Well, I don't use a recipe anymore.
Well, I know.
What I did was
so what you do is when you start with your pound of walnuts, you go, oh, well, maybe I don't want to make a ginormous loaf. Let's make this a half pound of walnuts.
It's the amount of lentils that I had, because I made lentils for another meal in the Instant Pot. Oh, by the way, if you don't have an Instant Pot, get one. Because like for lentils and things that usually you have to soak overnight, you don't have to do that.
Yeah.
And I can cook lentils in the Instant Pot in like 10 minutes.
Vegetable stock.
Yeah, wow.
Okay.
I just had a huge brain fart. I don't usually use a vegetable stock. What I use is water, and then I usually use the stuff in the jar.
Bouillon?
The bouillon. Yeah, better than bouillon.
Better than bouillon.
Yeah,
so
the
like
vegan
better than chicken or...
Yeah. So I use that, and then whatever herbs, whatever flavor profile I'm looking for, add that into the water with the thing, and literally put it on manual pressure cook for like 10 minutes. And I did 2 cups of walnuts, 2 cups of you got me saying walnuts now, 2 cups of lentils and the appropriate amount of water, and then the herbages and whatever. And in 10 minutes, I had way too many lentils.
Yep. It's true. Way too many
What
lentils.
did I originally cook the lentils for? Oh, I did lentils and roasted veg.
Oh, those roasted vegetables over lentils. Those were gorgeous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so number 5 on my list, moving on. Number 5 on my list is breakfast wraps.
Okay, let me tell you. I've never been a fan of breakfast. I am, 47 years old? And
Something
I've
like
never been a fan of breakfast. Until Christine started making me breakfast wraps. Oh my God. Like seriously, these are just fantastic. And they're, again, infinite variations. I love things that can be variated in any number of ways. But Christine's breakfast wraps, kind of amazing. So how do you do it?
How do I do it?
That's right. How do you do it?
Well, I mean, it depends on what we have in the house, but I usually do, if we have just egg, I'll do just egg folds. If we don't have just egg, I'll do just a tofu scramble. And then hash browns or sometimes tater tots if we just have tater tots in the freezer. I think one time I used French fries.
You did. And the addition...
Some kind of a potato element.
The addition of potato to the wrap
it's kind of crucial.
Is crucial.
Yeah.
It's kind of genius.
So you do just egg or a tofu scramble, some sort of potato element,
preferably a crispy potato element.
Yeah, a crispy potato, and then I usually do some kind of a protein element, either tempeh bacon that I made or like some other vegan bacon or a vegan sausage. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I usually do a cheese, and is that it?
That's really about it.
Yeah, that's really about it. And then you just kind of get all those different texturally. Mm-hmm. I think that's what makes it hit the spot. Right. You know, it's got all those different textures in it.
Well, I think also because, I mean, I made a rather decadent breakfast sandwich this morning. I don't know why. I was just feeling in the mood for that kind of a thing.
Yeah.
But I think because those are things that we don't have very frequently, there's something about the slightly saltier than we would normally have, a little bit fattier than we would normally have. It feels incredibly satisfying.
Yeah.
The combination of the just egg and then like what I made this morning with the tempeh bacon.
Yeah.
You know, a little bit of cheese, a hash brown.
It kind of scratches that diner breakfast
Yeah,
itch.
it's that diner breakfast itch. There's something
you're
about it.
You're not going to have this. We don't have this every day.
Oh, God, no.
Not even once a week.
No.
But when we do make them, they're so good.
Exactly. And it's one of those things that you can kind of go, oh, yeah, this is a treat.
Yeah.
This is a treat. This is great.
Yeah, so breakfast wraps.
Love it.
And sometimes we have had them for supper.
We have had them for dinner. We've made breakfast wraps a side of salad.
I love breakfast for supper.
Yeah,
I do.
You do.
Yep. So that was number 5 on my list. Number 6 on my list, and if you haven't noticed, I love making lists. Number 6 is spaghetti and vegan meatballs with a side salad.
It's about as simple as you get.
Yeah, I mean, spaghetti and meatballs, I mean, for me anyway, that's a huge comfort meal. Mm-hmm. You know, my family used to, back in the day when my grandma was still alive, it was Sunday dinner, you know, the pasta succo it was over at my grandma's. You know, it's funny. Our family called it pasta succo, which is weird because succo in Italian means juice.
Right.
It's odd.
It's not sauce.
It's not
juice.
sauce.
Right.
I mean, sauce is salsa.
Mm-hmm.
So why wouldn't it be pasta salsa and not pasta succo? Maybe, I mean, I don't know the origins and there's nobody alive anymore that I can ask, but maybe it's because my grandmother used to use tomato juice when she made her pasta sauce.
It could. I mean, it
like
could just be...
on top of using fresh tomato and stuff like that, she would use tomato juice.
Well, that could be it.
So
it
maybe,
could also just be a colloquialism that
it could be
traveled with them.
It must be. Yeah. So anyway, so spaghetti. I'm digressing.
You are.
I'm digressing and regressing all at the same time.
Nicely done.
But yeah. So anyway, pasta succo or spaghetti and meatballs for me is a huge comfort meal. So we'll have that every couple of weeks.
Yeah. Yeah, it does make it into the rotation, like you said, about every couple of weeks.
Yeah.
It's also a staple whenever we have family visiting.
Yeah.
Because we know we can't go wrong on that one.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with pasta and meatballs. And there's so many really great vegan meatballs out there. And I have yet, and I don't know why, I have yet to make my own, now that there's so many good meat replacements.
Right.
Like I would like to get like some Impossible meat and make my own version of my family's meatballs, you know?
Yeah. I think that's something
I don't know why I haven't tried that.
What's wrong with you?
I don't know.
How have you not done that?
It's not because I don't have the time.
No, it's definitely not.
But yeah, so yeah, spaghetti and meatballs. Love it.
Yep.
Can't go wrong with a side salad and like some good bread.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ooh, we used to get that bread at Wegmans, the rosemary olive oil. They make an organic rosemary olive oil bread that's really good.
It's perfect for pasta.
Yeah.
To have with pasta. If you want to, go into carb overload.
Oh, yeah.
That's the way to do it.
It's good for sopping up the sauce.
Yep.
Yeah.
But of course, the best option is always to make your own
homemade bread. Yeah.
Always.
Number 7 on my list is a vegetable stir-fry over rice.
Yep.
Yeah. This is a good, I don't know what to cook, but there's still vegetables in the refrigerator that are going to go bad if I don't kind of meal. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, stir fry vegetables and make a good rice, usually jasmine rice or a basmati rice. And yeah, you can't go wrong.
No, you really can't.
Yeah.
I mean, for us, stir fry will literally be whatever is left in the veggie drawer. It usually turns into zucchini and broccoli, and snow peas are one of my favorite things to toss in a stir fry.
Yeah.
Carrots, celery, bell peppers, onions, you name it. You can't make a bad choice here. So
Not really.
Just toss the veggies into your wok or your saute pan and off you go.
And off you go. Yeah. So that's a good, and it's a quick meal usually. Mm-hmm. It's a quick meal to make. Yep. I mean, chopping time aside, it's a pretty quick meal to make. Number 8 on my list, which we alluded to earlier, is autumn vegetables, like an autumn vegetable bake with Brussels and potatoes, sweet potatoes, celery, carrots, etc. Just a seasonal vegetable bake. And so what I usually do is I cut up a bunch of seasonal vegetables. I put them out on trays on baking trays with a little bit of olive oil and whatever herbages I feel like using. It's usually like basil and oregano and garlic and maybe garlic powder and a little onion powder. And just mix everything around a little bit.
You can always tell when I roast the vegetables because when I roast the veg, there is always dill involved.
Dill, if there's dill, I'll put dill. And then I put them in the oven at about 375 for maybe 30 minutes, 40 minutes, depending, until the if there's potatoes and carrots involved, until those are soft. Mm-hmm. That's how long I roast them. And then when we made it last week, was it last week? I think it was last week.
It was last week.
I put it over lentils, and then sometimes you can top it with a balsamic, which is really good, which I didn't do.
No, we didn't. Yeah. But definitely Trader Joe's balsamic glaze is really beautiful on top of this particular meal. Just a little bit of a squeeze. It's great.
Yeah, and you get all your veg and starches and everything all in one fell swoop.
Get everything you need in one bowl.
Yeah, that's a good meal. I like that because it's just a tray bake.
Yeah. And I like it because lentils just make me happy.
Yeah. And it doesn't, you're not dirtying a lot of pans and stuff, so.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's true of most of these meals that you're talking about as well. I mean, these are kind of standard weeknight meals.
Right, yeah.
We're not doing anything particularly...
This isn't fancy.
This is not fancy. This is not special in any way, shape, or form.
We're not fancy people.
We're not. It's relatively quick. So these are all meals that you can put together in about 30 minutes.
Yeah, put together in about 30 minutes, and then the tray bake usually takes about 45 minutes,
right?
To an hour
to roast the veg.
To roast.
Yeah.
But quick prep, and then not too long cooking, and it's in the oven. It's not like I'm doing anything.
Right.
I'm usually dancing around the kitchen, listening to music or something on my headphones.
Usually, yeah.
Scaring the cats. Scaring the cats. Number 9 on my list. What is number 9 on my list? Number 9 on my list is when on nights where I just don't feel like cooking, number 9 comes into play. It's vegan burgers with French fries in the air fryer and a salad if I even feel like it. And that's when I just don't feel like cooking.
Yeah.
And plus, sometimes it just feels good to feel like you're eating junk food.
Yeah. And the thing is, we haven't actually done this in quite some time.
Yeah, because we had the holidays and everything, so
right.
We're
so
junk
I feel
fooded
like
out.
We are. So I feel like we haven't done this in a while. But it really is sometimes. I can always tell that a burger night is coming up when Christine buys burger buns at the grocery store.
It's a telltale sign that I'm tired of cooking.
Yeah, it's not something that we normally keep in the house. So if burger buns have made it into the house, I know that there's a night of burgers and fries coming up at some point in the not too distant future.
I usually do it on a Friday night or whatever, just for kind of a fun meal.
Absolutely. And generally speaking, when we do burgers, we use Wegmans Don't Have a Cow. Burgers.
Yeah, they're good. I mean, for a quick kind of burger, they're really good pan fry. They're also really good on the the outside grill.
Yeah, I like them. And if it's a special occasion and we're going all out crazy on the burgers, then we go with the Impossible Burger. We will
definitely
get Impossible
definitely meat. Impossible Burger.
Yeah, so that's a summer outside on the patio kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah. So we try not to do that very often. The Wegmans burgers are much lower in calories, much lower in fat, much lower in saturated fat. So they are the healthier choice.
Yeah, and they're really good.
And they're just as tasty.
And they have, you can tell that they have a liquid smoke in them or something that makes them, it gives them that, that Burger King-ish kind of smell and taste.
Yeah.
They're good.
And it works. It definitely works. And then, of course, a fried potato element because, what's a burger without fries?
You got to have fries.
You do. You got to have fries of some kind. Sometimes it's regular potatoes. Sometimes it's sweet potatoes.
Yeah.
And then I will usually insist on a salad because, raw veg.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So, sometimes we'll have a salad with it, too, just so we don't feel so guilty about having burgers and fries for supper.
There's nothing to be guilty about. If you had burgers and fries for supper every night, I would understand your feelings of guilt. But to have a burger and fries once?
Yeah.
We don't even have burgers and fries once a month.
No, we don't.
No. So, hey, no
but
guilt involved.
It made it to my list. That is my I don't feel like cooking meal.
It is a go-to you don't feel like cooking meal. You are correct.
Yeah. Number 10 on my list is a good one for if family are coming over because you can make more of it and it doesn't take a whole lot of time. Prep wise is baked ziti, and I'll do like a baked ziti and like Beyond sausage. And everybody seems to enjoy that.
Oh, yeah. You can't, I mean, particularly with my family, you can't go wrong with the Beyond sausage. Everybody loves it.
Yeah, so baked ziti, with sauce, some Beyond sausage. Sometimes I'll throw veg in there if I want to be daring. But not everybody, wants the veg in, like zucchini or something like that.
I will always ask for more veg.
Yeah.
And I will sometimes get overruled.
Yeah, well, just because I know not everybody wants veg in their ziti. Sometimes people just want the ziti.
The noodles and the sauce and the cheese.
Yeah, and the cheese. And then then just top it with some vegan mozzarella, shredded vegan mozzarella. If you have it, we have 10. If you don't have it, give me a call and I'll send you some. So yeah, that's a good meal if I want to make a lot of food but don't want to spend a whole lot of time on it.
Right.
Number 11 kind of falls in that category too, is sausage and peppers with the Beyond, the spicy Italian Beyond sausages.
Yeah.
Again, they are not something you want to have often because they're loaded with fat.
Yes.
Not saturated fat, but they're oily.
No, they are. They're oily. They're greasy. It's not, it's not whole food.
No, it's not at all.
Is it better than eating the animal alternative?
Oh, well, absolutely.
Oh, God, yes.
I don't care how healthy it is.
Many ways.
Nobody had to suffer and die.
Well, there's that too. Absolutely. But yeah, this isn't something I would recommend having every day.
No, but they're good.
No, again, it's a treat.
It is. It's a treat. And I just make up a ton of this. Like I said, this is another one that's good if there's people coming over. Just buy 4 packs of Beyond sausage, a bunch of peppers, and a bag of onions, and
go to town.
Yeah, and Bob's your uncle. Hey, Bob's your uncle.
Your uncle.
I've been wanting to use that phrase. I don't know why.
I don't either, but there it is. You did. You mentioned that last week. She's like, why didn't I say Bob's your uncle? I'm like, I don't know. Why do you want to say Bob's your uncle?
Because I love that phrase.
Okay. Well, there we go. I thought you would bring out For the Love of Mike or Merlin's Pants or something.
No, that's for a different reason you would say those things. But
yes.
Bob's your uncle just means, and there you go. There you have it. Kind of
I
thing.
Understand the difference.
So
really
anyway, sausage and peppers, it's always good. You can have like some good like Kaiser rolls or some kind of good sandwich rolls that people can make sandwiches out of.
And the thing is, you don't even need the roll. The sausage and the peppers just on their own in a bowl. Give me a fork. I'm on it.
I like to make sandwiches.
I know you do.
So number 12 on my list is kind of in that same vein. You can see we're going down the Italian road here. And number 12 on my list is a lasagna.
Yeah. And I got to say, Christine makes amazing lasagna.
I do. I make a pretty good lasagna. I don't know if my lasagna is as good as my nephew Trey's. His lasagna.
He may have surpassed you.
No, his lasagna is just so good. I have to ask him exactly what he does.
Well, but the thing is, I mean, I think because he's become the lasagna master for Christmas Eve for the past several years, he's really been working on it. And every year
he's
he kind
honed
of ups
his craft
game a little bit.
Oh, yeah. He has totally honed his craft in the lasagna making. It's so
incredible.
Good. It's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's you go back for a second piece good.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, and now that, that part of the family is half vegan, half omnivore.
Yeah.
We're 3 and 3.
Yeah.
So, he's very gracious and makes both a vegan lasagna and an omnivore lasagna. But
the funny thing is
it's great.
Even before I was vegan, I very rarely made lasagna with meat in it.
I don't think lasagna needs it.
Yeah, my lasagna was always, even when I was not vegan, even when I was not vegetarian, was vegetarian.
Yeah.
I mean, I would use dairy cheeses and stuff.
Right.
But I just never was a big fan of meat in a lasagna. I like you said, I don't think it needs it. If you have the right amount of mushroom and veg, and it's umami enough that you don't really need a meat component.
No, you don't really.
Yeah, you do need cheese, but there are good vegan cheeses out there now, and
Lots
it's really easy. You can buy vegan ricottas, and we just tried the Kite Hill one over our Kenny Christmas.
Which was really good.
Which I was impressed by, but it's like $8 for a tiny little thing of it. So, yeah, it's good, but no. If you're making a lasagna, you can make your own
cashew cheese.
Easy with cashew cheese and tofu. it's really easy to make vegan ricotta. Yeah, no problem at all.
Yep, for sure.
So that was number 12 on my list. Mm-hmm. For those of you keeping score at home, that was number 12. Number 13 on my list, lucky 13, is kale and black bean enchiladas.
Okay, this is another thing that we came across. I don't know where this recipe had been all our lives.
Yeah, this was another Blue Apron, right?
Yep, it was another vegetarian Blue Apron option, and their version was made with kale and black beans and, beautiful sun-dried tomatoes and cotija cheese. And of course, we're taking the cotija out of the question, but Christine has since adapted that recipe into a vegan version, and I actually think she's surpassed the Blue Apron that we had that very, very first time. But
thank you.
It was one of those recipes where we each took the first bite and just looked at each other and went, wow,
these are good.
These are good.
Yeah, there's something about the hardiness of kale. It doesn't break down. It breaks down just enough that it combines with the black beans and almost gives you kind of
a meaty texture.
It gives it a meaty texture. Yeah, there's something about the bite, the chew of the kale and the black beans together that kind of mimics a meaty texture. Yeah, so good.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
Yeah, there's lots of recipes out there if you want to try and make them. I wing it. I just wing it. Totally. I cook up the black beans and wilt the kale in there. I add, all your typical Mexican spices and chilies and adobo. And what else? Sometimes, of course, peppers and onions. And sometimes I add other beans if we have them, just to kind of beef it up a little bit. And then
you wouldn't be beefing it up. You'd be beaning it up.
You know what I mean.
I did, but it's like feeding two birds with one scone.
All right. Okay.
Okay.
And then I use corn tortillas.
Yes.
Which I warm a little bit. If you don't warm a corn tortilla up a little bit before, when you go to fold them and put them into the roasting pan, they can crack and stuff on you. So if you don't want to go through all that trouble, just lay them out and make it like a lasagna. I've done that too. You can make it like a casserole, an enchilada casserole. And I don't make my own enchilada sauce. Although it's been on my bucket list of things to learn how to make, is a really good enchilada sauce. I use a canned enchilada sauce. So sue me.
I don't think anybody was thinking of that. Wouldn't have crossed my mind.
Yeah, but they're really good.
They are really good.
Yeah, and I just top them with a little vegan cheese. One of the 10 bags of vegan cheese we have.
Obviously.
There's, which one I thought was really good? It's that mix. Somebody has like a mixed pizza cheese. Is it?
It's Follow Your Heart.
Follow Your Heart makes that
has
mix.
A pizzeria blend.
Yeah, the pizzeria blend melts really nice in something like that. And I don't put a lot of cheese. I don't want it slathered in cheese or anything. Just a sprinkling of cheese on top. And they're really good.
Yep, agreed.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling those are coming soon to a dinner table.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've made them. So
yeah.
So last but not least on my list, number 14 was a late addition to the list. Sam said, "How come you didn't say anything about our homemade pizza?" Mm-hmm. I'm like, "You're right, I did not." So I added it in. It was a just get in under the wire to the list. So homemade pizza.
Yeah.
Yeah, we use Paul Hollywood's pizza dough recipe.
Yes, and I am the dough master.
Yeah, and I've made it, but it always turns out better when Sam does the dough.
Yeah, I don't know.
Always.
I don't know.
It's the same recipe. I follow exactly what the recipe says.
I can't tell you.
It just, when you make it, it's more flavorful. I don't know what it is.
I don't know what it is either, but we've decided before that really you're the cook of the two of us and I'm the baker. So.
Yeah, you just have the touch when it comes to dough and breads and stuff like that.
And I love making them. They're just so much fun. So yeah, we use Paul Hollywood's pizza base recipe from his book, Paul Hollywood's Bread.
Yeah.
It is absolutely fantastic. It's really a foolproof recipe. You can't go wrong with it. And then our toppings are, of course, your standard pizza toppings. We go crazy on the vegetables, peppers, onions, olives, broccoli, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We will often use a pepperoni. We are particularly fond of bee kind.
Yeah, the bee kind vegan pepperoni is really good.
Amazing, absolutely amazing, and it's not super greasy.
No, it's good though,
and it's made from tempeh.
It's spiced
Perfectly. Absolutely perfectly. We have on occasion done some Italian sausage on our pizza. Oh, Upton's.
Oh, yeah. Upton's makes like a sausage crumble.
Yes.
That works really well on pizzas.
Yep. Really great.
And seitan. It's a seitan based.
Yep. And then, of course, a cheese of your choice. We go with the Follow Your Heart Pizzeria blend, which is beautiful on pizza. And then pop it in the oven at a really high temperature, usually at least 450.
Yeah. For like 10 minutes.
For like 10 to 12 minutes.
Yep.
And there you go. Fresh homemade pizza.
Yeah. That's a good one. And we haven't made pizza in a little while. So
we haven't, because the last time we made pizza, we were doing the Miyoko's test.
Right. Yeah. And I still have another bottle of Miyoko's that I put in the freezer now. Miyoko's told, because I questioned them. Is it because I didn't want it to go bad? We were going out of town or something was happening. The holidays started and I still had another jar of it. And I'm like, I don't want this bottle of cheese to go bad. So I reached out to them and said, can I freeze this? And they said, while we don't recommend it, they have other customers that have
done it and
have had success freezing it. So I've yet to take it out of the freezer and thaw it and try and use it again and see if it works. So that'll be an experiment.
We'll have to give it a shot.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. So that's just a few of some of the meals that are kind of on our regular rotation around here. And I just thought I would share them to give people, if you're searching for what to make for vegan meals for supper. I just wanted to kind of give people an idea of what we do. That kind of leads into what we wanted to, it kind of gave us the idea for what we want to jump into starting next week.
Yes, which I'm very, very excited about.
Yes, which you just said the feed two birds with one scone.
I did.
We were talking about resolutions.
Yes.
In an episode, was that last week's? No, 2 weeks ago, we were talking about New Year's resolutions. And one of my resolutions was to cook a recipe out of one of the many vegan cookbooks that we have a week or so. And so we had this thought, well, wouldn't that be cool to like pick a recipe and talk about it on the podcast? So next week, we're going to start doing that. We're going to pick a recipe. Are we going to pick the recipe before we cook? We're going to pick the recipe before we cook it?
Well, you have to choose a recipe before you cook it.
Well, I mean,
don't you?
What I mean is we're going to announce the recipe.
No, we're not.
No, we're going to pick the recipe. We're going to cook it. And then by next week, you're going to know what recipe we picked and we're going to cook it and tell you how it came out.
Yes.
That's how it's going to work. And we'll tell you, what cookbook it came out of. And you can either purchase that cookbook yourself or try and reach out to where whoever wrote that cookbook and see if you can find it. Because a lot of these people have blogs and stuff. You might be able to find the recipe online. So that will be starting next week. That's going to be a little series that we're going to run. I don't know how long we're going to be able to keep it up, but
well, well, if you want to stick to your resolution,
well, I'm going to do my darndest.
We'll keep it up.
So this will be good impetus for me to stick to that.
Yes.
Yeah, so that'll be next week. Do you have anything else you want to talk about as far as our weekly meals and what we just talked about?
No. I think I know a lot of people, get concerned about being in a rut food-wise. Like I eat the same thing all the time. Well, you know what? That's not necessarily bad.
No, I mean, as long as what you're eating is well-balanced.
As long as it's well-balanced and as long as it's serving you well, that's completely fine. If you're having salad every night, that's okay. It's actually okay.
Yeah.
But, we just wanted to send out this kind of list so that if you are in the salad rut or you're in the pasta rut, because I think those are two places all vegans get stuck at some point. You're eating a whole lot of pasta and a whole lot of salad.
That can happen.
So
when I was vegetarian,
beans and rice.
I lived on beans and rice for about a year and a half.
Well, yeah, because it's cheap, it's easy, and you can make large quantities.
And it's like a complex carbohydrate, and I mean it's good for you. But I literally lived on beans and rice like every day.
Absolutely,
that's what I ate.
Well, hey, let me tell you, she makes some pretty damn good beans.
Well,
and
I had a lot of practice.
Yeah.
I have perfected the beans and rice.
Yep.
At least in my eyes, Other people might have a different opinion on that. But you seem to like them.
I do like them very much.
All right. Well, I'm just going to do some housekeeping then. If you have any recipes that you think that we should try or whatever from a cookbook or something that you make, I want to know what everybody out there is cooking. Email us at compassionandcucumbers.com. Visit our web.
Email us at compassionatecucumbers
at gmail.com. Sorry. Or you can go to our website where you can find our email address at www.compassionandcucumbers.com. We are still holding our fundraiser for Mockingbird Farms Animal Sanctuary. That's at our Buy Me a Coffee site. I don't know why I always want to throw a cup in there. Like they need to change the name of it or something. It's buymeacoffee.com /.
Yeah, that's the problem. The name's the problem.
Yeah, so go to buymeacoffee.com /cucumbers and make a donation to Mockingbird Farms Animal Sanctuary.
With that in mind, we'd like to shout out our donors.
Oh, yeah. I want to shout out our donors. Number one, I shouldn't say she's my sister, but she's my sister. Linda Soto, thank you very much for your generous donation to our fundraiser. And Flourish Cafe, thank you very much for your generous donation to our fundraiser for Mockingbird Farms. Keep them coming, folks.
Absolutely.
Because especially with all this cold weather, they're having to get, tons and tons of hay delivered to keep all the animals fed and warm during this, winter time. So it's really appreciated.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And remember, for anyone who's willing to go to that $50 donation, we will send you a limited edition Compassion and Cucumbers t-shirt.
That's right.
Of your very own.
Yep. Our first $50 donor gets that limited edition t-shirt.
That's right.
So, yeah. Okay. So with all that said, I think we're going to wrap this up.
All right.
We will see you next Tuesday. Stay warm and safe and dry, and don't go get in a ditch with all this snow out there. Sam's looking at me like I'm crazy. So that means it's time to wrap it up. All right. Thank you so much for listening, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye-bye. If you'd like to support the Compassion and Cucumbers podcast, you can go to buymeacoffee.com /cucumbers and buy us a cup of coffee. Thanks so much for listening and for supporting us in what we're doing. We're really having a good time with it.